Going on, people? It's been a minute since I posted a video, so I want to give y'all a little update on the daily real quick. So just do a quick walk around. Last time y'all seen this car, it was just a little bit different. So let me give y'all boys a rundown. Alright, first things first, put the Altima SCR rims on it. It was the first thing I did to this car. Put the SCR rims on it. Second thing we did was I went ahead and painted the calipers red. I know, it's the ricer in me. I just love red calipers, and I've accepted that. Third thing I did was tint the windows. Windows are tinted 35% all the way around. Did that, I think, on Monday or Tuesday of last week. Did the badge deletes, so the Altima and the 3.5 SE badge is gone. Went ahead and went to AutoZone to buy exhaust tips, and we got I think they're DC Sports 4-inch tips. It's got a 2.5-inch inlet with a 4-inch outlet. Now I was a little torn because I wanted to do a muffler delete, and then I came to a realization pretty quick that I don't want this car to be loud. That's what that car over there is for. This car is extremely loud, but in a good way, in my opinion. This car is supposed to be a little bit stealthier. Worst case scenario, the cops will fuck with me for the tint, but they won't fuck with me for exhaust. So I just wanted to keep that to a minimum. So if they're gonna pull me over, it'll simply be just for the tinted windows. Versus this car has tinted windows and it's loud as fuck. Look at my baby. Do a quick little walk around. And then I'll give you a mod list rundown one more time on my gray Altima. So this car has Manzo 3rd generation Nissan Altima SCR headers, 2.5-inch custom exhaust, no mufflers. It's got a Mazda 6 OEM resonator, which quieted down a lot, quieted a good bit. Maximum manifold and throttle body, still an underdrive pulley, Nisforeman stage 2 clutch, factory dual mass flywheel, which is annoying. Hopefully I can change that when I do the transmission stuff. 350Z VHR injectors, wall barrel 255, fuel pump, and what else? I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something, but that's the general idea of what this car has. Now, a lot of people tend to lean towards GTR injectors, which is a waste of money. Unless you get it on a crazy deal, it's not worth the money. There's a lot of VQ guys that'll argue that, oh, well, you know, you got the bigger intake, you need bigger injectors. The factory HR injectors are relatively good. The only reason I put 370Z VHR injectors in this car is because I had 2 clogged injectors. Like I told you earlier, this car has or not earlier, but in previous videos, this car has 235,000 miles, original motor. So I did the injectors, I think at about 220,000 miles. My fuel economy was horrible. The idle was kind of sporadic, and it kind of had like a little misfire because of it. So I hit a dude up, I think on VQ Nation or one of the VQ pages. He had upgraded his 370Z to E85, so he required a bigger injector. So he sold me his injectors for like $50, and they had like 50,000 miles on them. And I put them in this car, and it's been nothing but great. This car is tuned with the fuel pump and the injectors, so no issues there. So yeah, I know the previous video, I think I tried to rush through it, but it kind of still ended up being a long ass video. But that's the full mod list of this car, is everything I just told you. This car is bone stock, besides an intake and the maximum throttle body. I'll pop the hood and show you guys real quick. Fully loaded, navigation, 6-speed, so there's no confusion. Did the maximum manifold and throttle body last weekend, I believe. There it is. I had a spare blocks intake filter just laying around, so I just put that on. This was my old intake setup, so I know a lot of people are gonna, oh, you know, you're heat soaking, whatever. This intake literally is just for sound, so that's all we got. It's just for sound. That's all I wanted it for. Really not for performance, but 0 to 60 is pretty decent. Getting up to 100 is not an issue, but like I was telling you guys before, the difference from the Maxima and the Altima throttle body and manifold is the runners are a little bit bigger on the Maxima manifold, and the throttle body is 5 millimeters bigger. You can't really tell from the video unless I showed you the throttle body side by side, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Also, when you do that swap, if you like engine covers, which I kind of do, it doesn't really matter to me whether I have them or I don't have them, but you're gonna have to swap over the Maxima engine cover as well, because I think it's either this bolt or this bolt. One of them doesn't line up to the Altima manifold. So that's just about it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown real quick on the black car, because the last time you guys seen this car in a video, it was literally when I had first got it. It didn't have the rims, it didn't have the painted calipers, the tinted windows. I also put wheel spacers on it just to poke the wheels out just a little bit more. You can kind of see, it's relatively flush right here, and I'll show you in the back. Let's see if I can get it. So yeah, it's relatively, I feel like the back pokes out a little bit more, but worst case scenario, I could always just put a wider tire in the front and that'll solve that problem. But we have 15 millimeter spacers in the front and 20 millimeter spacers in the back. The car is lowered. I lowered it last weekend. My buddy Angel lowered it for me, so we got that lowered up. And I didn't want to slam it or anything like that. I just wanted the wheel gap to match the back, so we would have a uniform fitment, was the only reason I did that. So, and then future stuff I got to do is, this headlight is broken because the owner before me, I believe, slid into something, cracked the headlight, and fucked up the fender right here. And I also forgot I had to put a couple wheel bearings and front struts on this car. When he hit whatever he hit, he must have bent the actual strut tower, because this wheel was cocked in quite a bit. So I didn't think that it was a strut when I put the new struts on it, and we lowered the car. I was surprised that the wheel had came back out to normal where it's supposed to be, instead of having that cambered front end. So you know, like I said, this car is still a work in progress. It still has to get to where I want it to be, but right now I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I've only had this car for about 2-3 weeks, and we're already doing decent modifications to it. So the next step is the 2012 front end swap. This front end, I have the headlights, grille, and fog lights upstairs. The only thing I need is the hood and the bumper, and then this car will look like this car, except it'll be black. So that's the future plan. That's the next modification you're going to see on this car, is going to have the newer front end. So that's it. I don't want to bore you. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys with this video. It's a little longer than I wanted, but I figured it'd be an update on this car. I got to get the back bumper painted too. It's got a couple little gouges in it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. I'll keep you guys updated on future stuff or whatever I plan on doing in the future. But for right now, this is it. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.